What up, what up? AG Sports again. Guys, coming to you this time with some looks at week 2 for the NFL season. Yes, it is early, but probably not as early as you're thinking it is. I am using the Madden rankings and algorithms on this one, and then I'll also give you a little bit of a peek at my own personal algorithm and what that spit out at us here. The reason I want to go over week 2 is because week 1 is already it's already all out there. It's posted. So barring a big injury, the lines are what they are. Any holes in that line are being shored up as we speak if they have not already been. And week 2 is really where we're going to maybe see some variance here. Now, barring the injuries, the numbers I'm going to give you today are pretty much what I'm going to be sticking by as we get there. And so try to not be too swayed by week 1. It happens every year. Week 1, somebody comes out. They went out of nowhere, and then you think that team is maybe better than you had handicapped them at, than everybody has been talking about them at, and a lot of times it's just not the case. They just happen to have a good week, or the other team didn't prepare right, or whatever it is. Like, think the Jaguars last year. So that being said, let's take a look at some of the games that I have highlighted, some of the teams that I really like and I'm going to be following, and as well as, of course, our opponents. So first of all, we have the 49ers. This is a team that I added. So the first time I showed you guys this algorithm, I only had 4 teams. That was the Cowboys, Patriots, Rams, and Ravens. The 2 that I have added are the 49ers and the Browns. Both those teams I think are really, really good, and I think should actually be able to compete, if not win, in their division. The 49ers I added to this chart because they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. The Browns I added to this chart because they also have a very easy schedule, and they are going to kind of counteract the Ravens, who was another team I was already concerned with. So that being said, for the 49ers, the first week have the Lions. Not a big issue there. But the second week, they are playing the Eagles. So the first week, the 49ers are 7.5-point favorites. When I put that wager, I went ahead and bought the half point down to 7, so I bought it down to the key number. I really don't necessarily think you need to do that. I could see the 49ers just blowing out the Lions, but I'm doing it strictly for the sake of the key number since it's there. Second week, though, they're going to be playing the Eagles. The number that the Madden algorithm spits out here, it says that the 49ers should be really 1 to 2 point favorites, or 1.5 point favorites, I guess, if you want to play it that way. And the current line is a 5 point favorite for them. So it's either 4.5 or 5, depending on what book you're looking at. But what I am going to tell you here is that I don't really want to touch that line. I'm not really sure what we're going to get with the Eagles. I know a lot of people thinking they're going to be trash. The defense doesn't really look that great. Even on paper, it just looks kind of okay. But as far as the receivers go, I see a lot of the receivers being slept on right now. So guys like Devonta Smith, Jalen Reagor, and Quez Watkins, they're not huge names yet. I think Devonta Smith has probably gotten the most maybe hype this year because he's a rookie coming out of Alabama, Heisman winner, all that stuff. But the other 2 guys are really, really good, and those guys were both rookies last year who didn't really get the full offseason, and Quez Watkins actually was injured for a good portion of the season. So those guys are really getting slept on, and even the Madden ratings, I don't think they're really as accurate as they should be, and it's not the people at Madden's fault or EA's fault. It's just they don't have a lot of film on these guys yet, and the only one they really do is going to be Jalen Reagor, and he was really miscast last year. He should not have been a wide receiver 1, but that's where they played him because they just didn't have anybody. So those guys I could see doing better. So really, I think the spread itself is probably, if I were the one making it, I probably would have made it like at 1 point, 1 even, I guess. But my algorithm has also the same thing I have, was saying that the 49ers might even lose that game, but it's going to be a 1 point game. So one way or the other. Now, whenever you're talking about 1 point games, it's really, I mean, obviously, right, it's a coin flip, but it comes down to whom does not make the mistake. And I think if we're going just strictly off of coaching and mistakes here, we got to give it to the 49ers. I definitely trust Shanahan more than I trust Sirianni, brand new coach. And the only thing that really works against the 49ers in this one is going to be travel. So they're going to go from San Francisco to Detroit for week 1. Most likely, they're going to be going back home for, in between week 1 and week 2, and then they're going to turn right back around and fly out to Philadelphia, which is a cross-country trip for them, and it is an early game. So, if their body rhythm is set, to be that's going to be like 10 o'clock for them, or actually, I'm sorry, like 9 o'clock for them. By the time they actually, start warming up and everything, and then 10 o'clock when they start playing. So those things together, working against the 49ers, they have the better coach. They have presumably the better quarterback. I just think it's going to come down to being a tight game. And so right now, if I had to pick that game, if I had to put money on that game, I'd actually take the Eagles plus the points, especially if you can get like 5. By the time we get there, I think that line's going to keep growing because the 49ers, if they smash the Lions, which they should in week 1, like I was saying, you're going to have these people jumping on their hype train, bumping up those numbers, and you're probably going to get the 49ers like minus 6.5, especially if the Eagles come out and lay an egg week 1. So be on the lookout for that one, and even though it might not seem like it, I think the Eagles are probably going to give you some value in that one. And you know what, guys, before I go too much further, I just want to tell you, if you are here just strictly for the picks, please see the description below. I'm going to put all my picks there. If you don't want to hear me talking, you don't want any reasoning behind this, you don't care why I think what I think, you just strictly want to say, hey, what is this idiot looking at? What numbers is this guy going to give me? Just read the description. Don't give yourself blue balls waiting for me to talk and all that kind of stuff. Just look at it, copy and paste it, take a picture, whatever you got to do. That it is what it is. So it's going to take a little bit of time. And if you don't want to listen to all this, just read the description. That being said, let's go to the next game. Next game is going to be the Browns at Texans, week 2. Now, this one is a little different because the line that was put up there before they took it down was the Browns minus 13.5. I'm assuming that was because they obviously thought Deshaun Watson wasn't going to play. He still, as of right now, doesn't project to be playing in week 2. And I'm assuming that the line makers just didn't really have a good feel for that team, so they gave the Browns this huge line. That's got to come down. While yes, I think the Browns could win by 13 points, I don't think there's going to be enough people running to the window at the Browns minus 13.5 for them to warrant keeping that number where it's at. You're probably going to get some action on the Texans, which should bring that number down. I don't know how much, but it should bring it down some. According to the Madden ratings, the Browns should really be like 7.5 point favorites, not 13.5 point favorites. That's a pretty big value with the Texans. Now, value aside, I'm going to tell you straight, I cannot get myself to bet on the Texans. Even just the thought of it is kind of making me like a little queasy right now, and I cannot imagine clicking that accept button on the Texans line. I can't do it. Now, my personal algorithm does spit out a 33-20 win for the Browns, which still wouldn't cover the 13.5, but it is 13. So maybe if that number drops down to 13, you could talk about the Browns. Probably going to just be a stay away for me. While if I had to lean on something, I would be leaning Browns. Now, this is also assuming, again, Deshaun Watson is not there, and they basically just leave the team as is, and that Phillip Lindsay is a starter as the running back. So, who knows what the Texans are going to do between now and then. Cowboys. So the Cowboys are going to be playing the Chargers week 2. The current line is Cowboys plus 1.5. The Madden algorithm says that it should be really Cowboys about plus a half a point to maybe plus 1 point. And my personal algorithm also has it at Cowboys plus 1. It's the predicted score is 27-28, with the Cowboys losing by 1 point. So you're getting a half a point of value in that. I don't want to say that I would really run to the window with this half a point of value, but it's there. Now, again, that is assuming all the players are healthy. And really, in this case, the biggest difference is the quarterback. And so if Dak is not healthy or he's not looking right in week 1, if he's just looking rusty, and you got to remember, it's not just this like lat or shoulder issue, whatever he's got going on right now. Obviously, I'm sure you remember that his ankle was all twisted backwards last year. But aside from just the injuries, you're looking at a guy who just has not played a game in almost a full year at this point, and he really has not had a lot of practice time. And not that he necessarily needs to get like in sync with his players. A lot of the guys are returning. It's a lot of the same team. And while it would be great to get him some reps, I don't think he necessarily needs the timing issue so much, but I do think it would be good for him to knock off some rust and maybe play a little bit, at least in practice, at least in like a scrimmage or something, because this guy has had no live action. So I could see him taking these first 2 games to really like warm up and kind of get back up to game speed. And with that says to me is that I'm not taking the Cowboys either of these games. I don't even know if I'm going to take them at all anytime this year, but for sure these first 2 games, I'm going to be very hesitant to put anything down on the Cowboys. So those are our first 3 guys. We're halfway through. Patriots on the next ones. Patriots and Jets, and this one kind of surprised me. So I really like the Patriots just as a team this year, and I think that they're probably going to win. If they don't win their division, they're going to be right there with the Bills, giving them a hell of a time for that division. Now, they play the Jets in week 2. They are playing away, so they're playing, in Meadowlands. The current line is Patriots -4, Patriots -3.5, depending on your book. The Madden algorithm, just strictly off of players, says that it should be like a pick'em, which I kind of find that hard to believe. They actually have Zach Wilson rated at a 75 right now, and Cam Newton rated at a 76. So, one of those to me is not right. I do not think Zach Wilson should be valued as much as Cam Newton. Now, which one is wrong? You tell me. But I think there should be more than a 1-point difference in these two. Other than that, the Patriots, they have a pretty decent advantage on the offense and defense. And really what hurts them is that they're playing away for this game. But my personal algorithm has the Patriots predicted to win by a touchdown. I think that's probably about right. But again, this is a very different situation because we have Madden saying, hey, this should really be like a pick'em, and it might end up being like a 1-point game. I have my algorithm saying the Patriots are going to win by like a touchdown, and then we have the line literally just splitting it down the middle saying, no, we're going to give you a -4 or -3.5. So again, for this one, this may be kind of a hands-off kind of situation for me. If that line gets down to Patriots -3 or even lower than that, of course, I'll probably jump on the Patriots just strictly because I feel like they are a really great team. I'll tell you right now, the biggest thing to me is that Bill Belichick is going to be playing against a rookie quarterback and a first-time head coach. Yeah, give me the Patriots all day. Now, the line, like I said, I'm really hoping for it to get to -3, to be totally honest with you. But if it does, at any point from now to week 2, and keep your eyes open because the lines will probably pop up early Sunday night, the Sunday of week 1. So that night, like around midnight or so Eastern time, look at the lines, be on your laptop or your phone or whatever you're using, because those lines are going to pop up, and it's probably going to come at like -3.5 or so, and you're going to need to watch it pretty closely and see what happens, because I can almost guarantee you the Patriots are going to win week 1, and everybody's going to jump on that bandwagon, and it's going to start inching that number up. And so by the time you get to kickoff, it's probably going to be Patriots like -5.5 or something. So that's another one we want to look at. The Rams here is the next one, the 5th team. So the Rams are projected with Madden to win by about 6 points. And now that is without Carson Wentz. That's assuming that he's still out in week 2. If Carson Wentz does play, the Rams are still projected to win by 4 points. So he's worth about 2 points at this line. The Rams right now are, or at least the last time they had this line up, they were 1.5 point favorites. Now that number's probably going to change because that was with Carson Wentz. Obviously, he's injured right now. If there is no Carson Wentz, yeah, I gotta believe that it's probably going to be like -3.5, somewhere around there. Might be even go higher than that, depending on how the Colts look week 1. But if I can get them, if there is no Carson Wentz, and I can get them at something like anything under 6, so if I can get them like Rams -5, Rams -4, I'll take that line. If Carson Wentz does come back, if that is his first game back and he does not play in week 1, I'm still going to go with a 6-point line. It's kind of where I draw my value at. So if this is his first game back, he hasn't had the whole offseason, he's still knocking off rust himself, then I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to be looking for a Rams -5 or lower to jump on that line. I would still really like that. Now, if Carson Wentz does play game 1 and he looks decent, he looks like he's fully healthy, then I really do want to get something closer to like a Rams -2.5, Rams -3 if possible. And my projected score here is 24-21 with the Rams winning. But again, that is assuming that Carson Wentz plays. And that's, I gotta say, with my algorithm, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's probably the biggest drawback with mine is that mine goes off of coaching stats and quarterback stats and things like that. And so when there's an injury or when there's a new coach, it makes it it makes it a lot less accurate because we don't know what that coach is going to do. So teams like the Eagles, who have a brand new coach, teams like the Jets, who have a brand new coach, it's probably not 100% accurate because we don't know what those coaches are going to do as far as like run to pass ratio or who they're going to, utilize the most. So keep that in mind. And for right now, I'm trying to weigh them, again, back and forth between the Madden ratings and my own personal algorithm. And I'm actually weighting the Madden just a little bit heavier right now. It's like 60-40. Lastly is the Ravens, and Ravens actually play the Chiefs week 2, so this is going to be a game that I definitely am going to watch. And the line, anytime that teams like this play, teams that have big public appeal, the line is going to be all over the place, because what's going to happen is you're going to have the general public come in and start throwing money on one team or the other. And I know last year these teams played, and the Ravens were actually favorites in this one. They were, I want to say they were like 1-point favorites to begin the week. And then by the end of the week, they were almost like 3-point favorites. And I saw the line when it first came out, and I thought I saw it wrong. I had to really like double and triple check, because I was like, what the hell? Why are the Chiefs dogs against anybody? And so it took that, and it was the easiest win I had all year. And this year, the current line is a pick'em. Madden has this really at about a pick'em, but it's saying that the Ravens should be about a half-point favorite because they are playing in Baltimore. My projections spit out a 27-24. And actually, you know what? Give me one moment, because I think I need to update that. Sorry about that. I still had their week 1 info in there. So it was actually Chiefs 30, Ravens 27. So my algorithm does have the Chiefs winning by 3. And that one, again, is not any question. Obviously, we have the same coaches, same quarterbacks, everybody returning. So that's going to be a little bit more accurate in this situation. So at the pick'em line, I'm really not going to touch it just yet. I would probably lean the Chiefs if I had to in this one. But that being said, if you really want to get involved in this game, and I'm sure that a lot of people do, just because, again, this is probably going to be a game you're going to watch anyways, you really want to just wait. Wait until the line comes out and you let the public move it, or at least let the sharps move it first, because they'll probably move it Sunday night, Monday morning, and you're going to get one side or the other to pop with value. And like I said, I would really go with Chiefs. So if you want to hop on the Chiefs early and say, hey, we're going to get them at a pick'em line, wait until, again, the sharps start coming in. They'll probably also side with the Chiefs, and what will happen is you'll end up being able to get the Ravens at like +3 at some point. Maybe not that high. It might be more like Ravens +2. But you can always wait for the Ravens +3 and try to get a little bit of arbitrage, or maybe even kind of hit that middle. If you get a Chiefs at a pick'em and then the Ravens +3, then the score I predicted here would actually, you'd push on one and win on the other. So those are the 6 picks I have, guys, for week 2, or the 6 games I'm really looking at and interested in right now. Like I said, all of the picks are going to be in the description below, and I'll also put some leans in there, so kind of give you the order of the 1, 2, 3 that I like, and then the 3 that are maybe just kind of leans at this point, and then the lines that I'm also looking for. Lastly, guys, I know I've been talking about this almost every video, but OddsGem is really helping me out with a lot of lines and predictions and values and all that kind of stuff. So check out the link below. It's OddsJam. If you only look at like 1 or 2 books usually, and that's where you get your lines from, or maybe you just put it in Google, like, hey, what's the line for whatever game, you should probably be using OddsJam. So OddsJam will show you what's out there, and even if you don't have an open account at all 6 or 7 books or whatever they're showing you, just knowing like where the general market is at will give you a good feel of if your book is way off or not. Because sometimes it'll work in your favor, sometimes it'll work against you, sometimes where the general consensus has it at like, let's say Chiefs -3, but your book in particular has it at Chiefs -6. So, you may want to either take the other side of that and then you get the arbitrage on another book or whatever you want to do. But once you have that information, it makes it a lot easier to bet and to make sure you're getting the best number and that you're taking advantage of any holes in lines possible, as all casinos are not the same. They use different bookmakers, they use different people to make books, and some of them even just go, like the offshore books, just go off of 1 or 2 casinos, and they may not update until later in the day once those casinos have actually changed their numbers. So, good thing to use, guys. Check out OddsJam. Like I said, I'll put in the link below. But thank you again. Hopefully this was informative. Let me know if you guys have any questions, concerns, anything you want to go over. And then lastly, I will be updating these numbers for week 1 and week 2 with Madden as injuries arise. So as they come up, guys, I'll be sure to make another video or send it out via Twitter, whatever I need to do to get the info out to you guys. If you want this spreadsheet, the Madden spreadsheets for yourself, let me know. Just put in the comments below, or again, hit me up on Twitter. Lastly, I am giving away wireless headphones. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and just like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll make sure I get you in the running for the wireless headphones. Again, absolutely free. This is what they look like right here. Again, very similar to Beats headphones. So if you want some, you want to give some away for a gift. If you're going to be listening to football podcasts while you work out, while you run, while you're cutting the grass, whatever, guys, you want to grab a pair of these, just put it in the comments below. Hey, I'm interested in the headphones, whatever it is. I will get you in the running, guys, to see who can win these. And right now, there's really not a whole lot of people in this. So if there's only like 3 or 4 people that comment, you have a pretty good chance at winning. So thank you again. Have a great day. Appreciate the support, guys.